So welcome back to the Rigby booth here at Dallas Safari Club 2024. Sat here with close friend and colleague Kevin Wistner from the Blaser Group from Blaser USA. Blaser USA are our importers and distributors in the United States. How you doing this morning, mate?
I am awesome. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Little tired on the third day of the show
Yeah,
here. It's starting
exactly.
to feel it a bit. But...
Well, after yesterday, it was really something to see. The amount of people that came through the booth yesterday.
Yeah.
We're standing in the Blaser booth going, wow. It just, you know, if you think back to how we started, I remember that you were attached to our booth at one point with 5 rifles.
No.
And what you've turned this into is just, it's the revival of an iconic brand that should be really the pinnacle of really bolt action side by side. It's you know, hats off to you.
No, that's really kind of you, Kevin. And as I say so many times on the podcast and just talking to people in general, this has been such a team effort, you know, the resurgence of Rigby's over the last 10 years. And you guys at Blaser, and we do talk about this, you know, have been a huge part of it, whether it be, you know, our colleagues in Germany with the manufacturing at Mauser, or whether it would be you guys over here in the US. You know, Kevin, you've been part of the group for, how many years have you been in the group?
This May will be my 20th year.
20th year.
So it's, yeah, we've seen everything, you know, even if you look at the genesis of, you know, taking the long gun brands away from Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer is obviously one of our sister companies.
Yeah.
At the time, I was a Sig Sauer regional handgun manager.
Okay.
So when the decision was made by Michael, our owner, to kind of separate his long gun brands from his handgun brands, it was, hey, we need some people that have a solid background in the mechanics of setting up this type of operation. And I was really fortunate that he, you know, took favor and said, hey, Kevin, you know, we're going to change your job title a little bit, and we want you to kind of grow into your position. And it's really been a great ride. You know, I got this gray hair for a reason.
So, welcome to the gun trade.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like anything, you have your absolute stellar great days, and you're like, oh, why am I doing this? But it's been, I moved my family all over the country, and I don't regret 1 minute of it. Not for 1 minute. No. It's been awesome.
Well, you've been such a part of the journey. I mean, so I can remember at the very beginning when Michael and Blaser Group bought Rigby's and meeting you at, you know, on the Blaser, it would have been the Blaser booth. This is before we'd even brought the company back to London. So you've really been there from the very beginning.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And honestly, I think of the things that we had here in the United States that really belonged back in the UK, all of the journals, the provenance of all of these guns dating back hundreds of years, were all sitting in my office. Dueling pistols were sitting in my office. Pepperbox pistols were in my office. And I just used to go in there, and I like felt like last year when I was in London visiting you in the showroom, and I was like, well, that was in my office for 2 years. I always felt like I was coming home to visit those items again, and it was such a cool time for us to get it out of the United States and get it properly back where it belongs in the Rigby Museum.
And as someone who's been in the group for so long, what do you think it means to Blaser Group to have a brand like Rigby's within our family?
I think it really, if you really look at our group of companies, we have the oldest German gun maker with J.P. Sauer and Sons. We have the cutting edge technology with Blaser products, and, you know, the innovative R8. But you need an iconic brand like Rigby to kind of be the anchor piece for that is selling guns at an exceptional level, but exceptional level of quality, performance, artistry, all of the things that a lot of companies aspire to, but they never really deliver on. Me as the importer, I never have to worry about someone calling our office and saying, hey, you need to send this back to London, there's a problem. That's something we are exceptionally fortunate with, that you know, your attention to detail in the UK is second to none. So it really has been a great journey in, you know, this aspect of your growth, because when you start getting bigger volumes, you always expect, you know, most companies will have a little dip in quality control or something, and you'll start getting returns. That never happens with us. I've never experienced that in our association, and it's been a bunch of years now. It really,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I think, people come to the show here, or they come to Rigby's in London, and they see, we've got 13 people on the booth this year, or we've got 30 guys in London, and that's the company. But actually, that's just the center of this huge web of people and this support structure. And I think, a massive part of the success of bringing the company back has been through that manufacturing and and people like yourself. And so you're the operations manager for Blaser USA. Can you tell us a little bit about how you support Rigby in the US market for us?
Yeah, so really our role is really to act as your agents here in the United States. So my primary job is to make sure we are compliant with all of the ATF guidelines, all of the legal processes. So I'm the compliance officer as well, but I am also the person who handles 100% of your importation permits. And that, for your products, is really quite technical. You would think you'd just say bolt action rifle and 30-06 or 300 Winchester Magnum or something like that. But the mechanics of dealing with the government is they are so meticulous in their review of the process. One little mistake and your permit is rejected and you are on hold for months. So that's something we really can't afford to do. We really have to be accurate, thorough, and really follow through on the processes. And dealing with people who I deal with on a daily basis, Maria, I can get an answer from Maria in 2 minutes. She's a joy to work with. Gary Duffy, everybody really is responsive and responsible. They know the gravity of, Kevin's calling and he needs specifications. This isn't, I have nothing to do on a Wednesday and I want to know the overall length of the gun. It's really, the government is that stringent that we have to give levels of minutia that really wouldn't matter to a average person, but from an importation standpoint, it is a critical issue.
Absolutely, and it's what you bring to the journey of that rifle, from idea in the client's head to him taking it to Africa. It cannot be understated, and you're the sort of the part of the whole machine where we're interfacing and interacting with the government. I mean, this is like serious stuff.
Yeah. And we all know, and I'm not saying anything bad about our government, but the ATF are the no sense of humor guys. Yeah. They don't come in with smiles on your face. Hey, your permits are now all canceled. They take their job very seriously, as they should, and they follow the regulations to the T. And if you don't have everything exactly in the format that they want to see it in, then you are not going to move forward. And we have a responsibility to our clients. We have a responsibility to our owners, and I take that responsibility very seriously, especially to our clients, because some of them have been waiting a prolonged period of time to get these one-of-a-kind, iconic rifles. It just really, I don't want to disappoint them because I can't fill out a government form. That's something that I'd be up nights not sleeping thinking about that. Then I also love the fact that I get to see their gun before they do. So everything that comes into the United States will come through my office first. I obviously, part of our checks and balances system is that I have to double check everything as it comes in. So when I see some of these beauties, I'm just, it makes honestly, it really makes my day when I see the artistry and the care and attention to detail that you put into every single product that comes to the United States.
That's kind. Thanks, Kevin. But I think in 10 years we sold now 2,000 Rigbys, and I would guess 600 to 800 of those have gone through your hands at Blaser USA, handling that import. And you just do it so professionally. So thank you on behalf, not just me as a company, but actually all of our US clients, because without you and that attention to detail that you show, we just couldn't do what we do.
Well, I'm fortunate to be part of it. I mean, honestly, it's been a journey, as we both know. I mean, we've been on this journey together. I love seeing you at events. It was my honor to come and visit you last year. It was really, it's been a great ride, and I don't regret 1 minute of my career. It's been fantastic.
And am I right in thinking that you were, in the UK we would call it the Paras, the parachute regiment? You think you guys call it the
Yeah,
airborne?
so I was in the United States Army for 4
Yeah.
years, and then I was in the United States Air Force for 4 years.
Wow.
And then I actually was quite fortunate. I had a posting to the military office at the White House.
Wow.
So I was a member of the Presidential Honor Guard
Wow.
during Reagan's second administration.
Wow.
So it's a kind of all of a once upon a time story. Little kid from Buffalo, New York, and yeah, it's been a great journey. I have no, I couldn't get out of Buffalo fast enough as a kid,
Oh.
and I'm happy with the way my life turned out now that I'm 60, which kind of blows my mind. Hence my Santa Claus beard still.
Well, one thing I know for sure is, back in London we have an ex-Royal Marine Commando,
Yeah.
ex British Army officer, an ex-Australian soldier from I think he was in the Royal Engineers down there. But one thing I know about you military guys is when it comes to the details and stuff, there is no one better. I mean, just the investment that, again, the government has put into you guys, the way that you turn out. I mean, doing the ATF stuff, I mean, Monty back home, the things he handles for us, you're so regimented and brilliant at what you do for us.
Well, again, I love working with you guys. The positive energy I get from you guys, or the positive energy I got from coming to this show and our support for Dallas,
Yeah.
just it blows my mind to think of how we brought this brand back,
Yeah.
and to see this booth in this spectacular format that it's in. It just really is. It's a tribute to our ownership partners, our customers,
Yeah.
and Marc, your hard work. You had this thing in a bag on your shoulder and you drug it. It's
thanks,
really
man.
hats off to you.
Well, as we talked about this before on the podcast, I remember that very first show, the year after it came back, and being on the corner of the Blaser booth, and I had 4 guns, and I think I borrowed 2 of them somewhere, and I was barely shaving and stuff.
Photocopied catalogs.
Yeah, exactly. It was.
Yeah.
It was like the ink was still wet on there, and we were selling fresh air at that
Yeah,
point. But
yeah.
to see it now in this booth, which is it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. Well, again, that's hard work, craftsmanship, customer loyalty.
Yeah.
Which is everything, and we appreciate our customers and their realization of taking their dream and your ability to put that dream into wood and steel. That really that's really something to be proud of.
So, Kevin, we quite often get asked about how Rigby fits into this Goliath structure, the Blaser Group. I mean, it is absolutely remarkable and how far-reaching it is. Could you share with the folks back home a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really quite interesting. Our ownership obviously had some forethought and a vision for what they could do with these legendary brands of the companies we represent. So it's really interesting that we are really a global company. We're on every continent. We sell to every walk of life. The real interesting thing is that here, just looking at it from a United States perspective, our sister company located in New Hampshire, 6 Hour, again, is absolutely a premier manufacturer, great government contractor. So for a long period of time, they were Blaser products importer into the United States. So at a certain point, we really needed to kind of get out and stand on our own feet, much like kind of the genesis of Rigby. So Blaser, Mauser, and Sauer became really a standalone operation here in the United States in 2006. We really needed to kind of be captains of our own ship and not do double duties. In the morning I'm selling handguns, and in the afternoon I'm working on Blaser products. So we really needed to make that growth. And much like what you're doing in managing your customers, we're doing the same thing still in the Blaser Group. The Blaser now really feels that we need to interact better with our customers, and one way to do that is to set up company-owned stores. So there is a Blaser USA here, there's a Blaser Spain, there's Blaser standalone entities throughout the world, and we're going to continue to grow that because we really want to share our passion with our customers directly. And it's nothing nothing against wholesale distribution or anything else. We have great dealer partners here in the United States, but we also want our customers to feel like they can come to us with dreams and aspirations and get an answer directly from the company because they want to feel connected to a brand. So we want to provide them the vehicle to do that. And you can't really accomplish that with a wholesale distribution partner. And we do products in wholesale distribution, but we really want to also be direct with our customers. We want them, again, to be involved. We want them to be connected to us. We want to show our loyalty to that customer because they're showing their loyalty in the most important way, spending their hard-earned dollars with our brands. And again, we are a global corporation. We have entities throughout the world, and everybody is kind of relying on each other to make each portion of that brand successful.
Absolutely, and I think there's several other best gun makers in the UK and across the world, especially across Europe. And I think what's so special for Rigby's and a couple of the others is that we're part of a gun making group. And I think what people sometimes don't see, and it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on it, is the sheer weight of firepower that brings to a little company like Rigby's. The manufacturing resources, distribution for yourselves.
Well, that's key. I think when the ownership group really looks at this company, each individual entity has its own piece of power that it brings to the collective. When you look at the technology that's being built in, at 6 Hour in New Hampshire, they have the most cutting edge technology of anybody in the world. I was just up there in August, and it really, from when I was there, 15 years ago to, last year, to see their growth is really a representation of the commitment they have to keep moving forward with technology, not get stuck in kind of a rut. Oh, well, we can't make this any better. They're always challenged to push the envelope to make it better. But we always have to rely on what each individual company brings to the table, because you have ideas that really help us globally. We have ideas that really help sales tactics and policies and procedures to really kind of make this a uniform process so you can have a managed expectation when you're dealing with any one of these premier brands. It really is quite an operation.
Absolutely, and I think one of the other real strengths is that each individual company and organization is, whilst we all have a shared vision and direction where the whole group's going, they are left to their own devices to make their business work.
100%. That's also, there's, if you look at our company, we love each other because we're all brothers, but we're also friendly business competitors.
Yeah.
So we're all, we're out, everybody has a sales responsibility.
Yeah. We
take those responsibilities serious, and we always try to sell in support of our brands, but in support of each other.
Yeah.
And really our philosophy is never run another gun company down.
Yeah, absolutely.
They actually help you elevate your game. The better products they make, that really forces you to, stay on this edge.
Yeah.
Produce something different.
Yeah. Rising tide brings all boats up with it.
100%.
And I think the other thing I would say as well is being family owned, the ownership structure of this thing, and having a direct line to be able to phone Michael, whoever it may be, that cannot be understated or overstated rather. It's to be able to pick up the phone and say, what do you think about this? And to feel the passion coming from the top down right into every corner of the whole group. It's amazing.
Yeah. Michael visited us. He came to our offices in San Antonio at the end of last year. And it's been because of COVID and everything else that's going on in the world. I hadn't seen Michael in a long time. And he's, he manages 1 million companies and he has 2 million employees. But when he saw me, he stuck out his hand and threw his arm around my shoulder and gave me a bear hug.
Yeah.
And he's like, I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah.
I was so touched that he can pick me out of one of his 100 employees and says, well, I know you're a faithful, 20 plus year.
100%.
So he's connected. He's not aloof. You can call and speak to anybody in our company and know that you're respected, and really they have your back and your best interest and the company's best interest in mind.
And the other person to mention there is our group CEO, Dr. Duralski, Jens, who is amazing, and how he can, I don't know how he finds the hours in the day. He can be, I can call him on a Sunday night and ask him, fairly small question on the large scheme of things that he's handling, and he will give it his time as if it was something much bigger. And we're very, very lucky to have people like that.
Yeah, it honestly reflects on their, the fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
So if you don't have responsible leaders who you can count on in any situation and to get some kind of direction, some real decision, that really is detrimental to any organization. And I think that the choices that they've made to pick strategic people to be in strategic positions is really a great credit to themselves.
Absolutely. And I think the very famous naval battle in the British history, the Battle of Trafalgar. With HMS Victory and Admiral Lord Nelson. And he put because back then there were no radios to transmit signals, and they would use signal flags on the flagship to tell the other captains what they needed to do. And before that, he put on there, England expects every man to do his duty. And in roundabout the same way, I think there is definitely this in Blaser Group. Everyone, whether it's our cleaning lady at Rigby's, or Jens at the CEO of the group, or us in what we do, everyone understands where the group's going, what we're trying to achieve, and we all work together to make it happen.
100%.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin. We're going to go and try and sell some guns now.
Yeah, we got to get back to work.
Imports. But yeah, thanks for everything, Kevin. And
happy to be here. Happy to see you again.